We got these two bikes out of a junkyard and got them running within 48 hours. Our goal was to go ride these things 100 miles to go get ice cream, but we failed and only made it 40. So this ride today, we're doing the full 100 and we're gonna make these things make the journey. So let's take a look at all the work we had to do to bring these things up to snuff and see if we can make this trip. So if you haven't seen that 48-hour challenge video, I highly recommend you check that out to get the full backstory of these bikes. But for now, enjoy the video.
Now, right out of the gate, the main mission here was to address the fuel systems and fix any issues that we had with the bikes. So that meant that both bikes got a new petcock that didn't leak fuel and a fuel cap to make sure we didn't get fuel on us. On top of that, we added some fuel filters, both bikes got a chain, and then on my 360, if you guys saw the last video, you know that it wasn't running on the right cylinder, and that's because of a diaphragm in the carb. Maybe it came unseated during a backfire, or maybe it was just because I was running on 24 hours and no sleep, who knows. But we got that thing fixed and the bike actually ran phenomenal. So after that, I turned my attention to actually mounting the fuel tank, and that's where we catch up here.
All right, we're working on the 360 here, and my next order of business is to actually mount this tank. So it's just kind of set on here right now. And that's not far off of how it was during the ride. I actually had it stacked up on a couple inner tubes and then ratchet strapped down to the bike. Custom. So at this point, I need to go ahead and kind of commit to this tank because it's part of the look and part of the character of the bike. Instead of maybe finding one that's, I don't know, for CB360, where's the fun in that? So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing mounted up. I'm thinking I'm going to utilize, well here, let me pull the tank off. I'll show you guys what we're working with. Now up front, we just have some traditional pins, and these are maybe slightly wider than the actual receiving area here on the tank, but it is pretty dang close. I think I can make that work. So if I just kind of trim those pins down a little bit on the side, I think I can make a bushing that will just fit into the slot on the tank, and that will allow me just to kind of run it. Now, I can't really push it too far forward, and I can't lower it down because the fuel tap is already pretty dang close to the head. Right now it's just touching it. So I can raise it up a hair. Leaving it in that spot would be about ideal. So these two holes line up. I might just make like a standoff, just a big bolt system, and then I might trim that back a little bit. I don't know. So not bad. Definitely got to keep this tank. I mean, look at that character. Okay, so I know you thought that the lathe was precision, but this is precisioner, so we're gonna adjust to this with that. Holding it like that, I'm just gonna give it a smack. Might have worked. Okay, we're gonna try this again because we just ended up bending the back. %. Okay, that definitely moved. Getting up there. Okay. Custom. All right, next up, I'm gonna cut these little tabs off of here just to give myself more room for the seat. Custom. So here at the back of the tank, we need to go ahead and get this thing mounted. It's sitting where it needs to. I need to have about this height. I need it to be rubber mounted. There are 2 holes right here. I couldn't ask for a more convenient setup, but it does get more convenient. So a soft rubber mounted item the same tube that was under here before. Keep it packaged like that. Slam this guy down on there. And we're just gonna drill a hole straight through this thing and you know, hopefully hit the new land, and I think we'll just bolt this thing down and it will be good to go. It'll be rubber mounted. With a lock nut, of course, because, you know, we don't take shortcuts. And if I position it like this, the 3.0 by 17, the middle 0 is kind of my center mark for the drill, so how cool is that? Okay, we have approximately that angle. Let's just see how this goes. Pretty good, pretty good. Pretty good. A lot of friction, you know. Yeah, you see, if it was different rubber, it would have worked. Okay, new plan. Chunk of wood. Put her like that. And we drill. Bullseye. Okay, so we'll have that, and then we'll go a little step further. I'll put this on some rubber. All right, we got a hole. Hole punch. This looks so good. Whoa! So obviously that's loose right now. We'll bolt that down. There's a ridge on the back of the spine, so that should sink into the wood slightly, and then that's tight and good to go. I think we still have good clearance for the petcock, which we'll start working on soon enough. Custom. Let's get this thing on the bike. So I've also put some leather on the end of my mounts here, just to give it a little bit more dampening, whatever you want to call it. Got my freaking seat on. I'm sure I'll need a little jump start action for this. Okay, let's take this thing outside. Go! So I need to go grab the air filters just so it has enough drag to lift the slide. Kind of idling on one cylinder right now. As soon as you put a little vacuum on the left cylinder, it comes alive. All right, 360 is on the lift. So we got to pull apart this entire front end here. I'm going to retain the gauges, but I do have to remove the bar clamps because I'm going to repair the triple. Like many of these, that is broken. So I will go ahead and weld that, and then we will swap this with a drum brake front along with the new tire. And this thing will be a lot better. So yeah, as far as this is concerned, I'm probably going to figure out the brake switch. The taillight does work, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some power running to the brake switch. I bought a new brake switch. This one does not work. So we'll get that hooked up. That way we'll have slightly more safety. And then I will see if I can get a headlight on this thing. I have the bucket from the other bike. If not, I probably have another headlight I can just retrofit. So that's the goal. All right, so looking at the triple, you see it's broke off. It's just a cast piece, so I'm going to take the die grinder and then we're going to just channel the heck out of this thing and build in a trench. We'll fill it up with weld and it will be good as used. All right, we have this thing prepped. So I've got my bolt going through here. Got some slack, you know. We got a nice big trough dug. Now I want to try to get something in here. Like I don't want to use the fork because I want to clamp this down, but I want to have something to clamp around. So this is an old bar end off the Bandit, and then I wrapped it in a few layers of HVAC tape. And then this, going by this side, is like exactly the right size. Let's put that in there. And then we can kind of push to it and get everything lined up, and then we'll get a few tacks on and it will be good to go. Look how ridiculous this clampage is. I've got that guy, obviously my spacer, that clamp holding this down to the table, this holding that piece down, the broken piece, and then we got the bolt through it, keeping a little tension that way. But then that tension is on a razor blade to keep the right kind of gap, like that. So I might be able to get the welder in there. Okay, that did not work. Should be able to remove that right there and have more access to it. All right, we got the triple done. Got some welds on there. It's a currency, I don't know about dimes. But anyway, I've gone ahead and like test fit this thing like a million times on the forks, and then just been kind of filing the little bits where it needs and taking a flat disc in there and just cleaning it up. So now it fits exactly how it should. I'm gonna get this on the bike, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and undo the forks from the wheel, and then I'm gonna just reuse those. So it should be easy. Now would probably be the time to take this apart and like grease it.
Not be a bad idea.
Are we gonna? Nah.
I was about to be flabbergasted if you did. To be fair, it's all going to be coming apart again pretty shortly anyway.
Now Seth doesn't have his microphone on, but he just said this thing's gonna be coming apart again soon. I don't really know what he means. It only has to make it 250 miles, and it has served its purpose at that point. All right. Very dirty. I'll clean it a little bit.
You're not allowed to clean it. That's against the rules, dude.
Well, we'll never know what that said. Dang. It's really clean in there.
%60 of the time, it works every time.
Well, that's pretty much as good as rebuilt. All right. All right, we're making progress here. Seth has just done a valve tappet adjustment on his bike. Also, what'd you do? You did a cam chain tension?
Yeah, tightened it up. At least I think I did, according to the manual. So hopefully it's not as horrifically slappy and bad noisy as it was before.
Yeah, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So of course we've got a new chain on his, and then it's been a minute since we've kind of caught up. I know you relocated your coils. They were down here, and you've rotated them, so
where they belong now. So now my ignition switch is actually in the right location.
Ah, okay.
So that's pretty convenient.
I still need to get at least get the tail light working. I know there's no lens, but the light works, doesn't it?
Yeah, all the lights work, but just need to get a lens on there.
Yeah. That's probably something I've been slacking on, is actually just putting the call out for that lens, because I know they're common. So we had ordered some mirrors for the bike, but they never showed up, so I got refunded, but that stuff happens. I know you went through and redid some of your controls here.
I did. I have no beam, low beam, high beam, as these old bikes had.
Yeah, they had everything on the right handlebar control there, so off, low, high, instead of moving it to the left.
I even sometimes have an electric start.
That's a sometimes.
Yeah.
Over here, of course, you saw me put those forks on, and I have the brake plate cleaned up. This thing's working nice and fluidly, so I've already cleaned the shoes over there. So I'll go ahead and assemble these things here pretty quick. We'll get this front wheel on. I have cleaned the shoe surface with sandpaper because, you know, that's just what you do. And then we have a nice new front tire and a new tube. So it is now Tuesday, and I think, well, we're talking about maybe Friday going and doing our ride.
Friday?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Friday.
We'll take the next few days and try to work out our kinks in these things.
Your forks look so good and shiny, it's not even fair. Like,
shiny.
I don't think they belong on that bike.
I mean, I would agree with you, actually. It's just, when I pulled those fork caps off, those dust caps, I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
I was so upset when I saw that.
You can see from the previous ride, the discoloration in the left pipe. This is the one that was actually firing. So again, I was riding this thing like 40 miles, like wide open throttle, running on one cylinder basically. So we're trying to get some heat in that side now. Pretty excited. We already got the chain put on this thing, and we fixed the diaphragm in the right carburetor. We got a new fuel cap, and yeah, all good stuff,
man.
Well, I decided to go just one step further. Gonna go ahead and drain the fork legs here. Dang, that actually does not look bad at all. Get my microphone real close to it. Some ASMR. All right. Very slowly.
I got that plug cherry hot, threw some vice grips and a cheater bar on it, and it doesn't budge.
Did it want to strip, I guess, or?
Oh yeah. Vice grips just ate the metal right off.
I know I got a pipe wrench at home.
I don't think even that would get it.
Man, what can we do? Drill it out.
Honestly. You got like an air hammer?
All right. Definitely ready for this. Yay! That was a good idea. Okay. Front end. I gotta loosen the top triple and then tighten down the center, the stem nut, and then just get everything kind of where it should be. We're doing good.
Next question is, do you have a drain plug?
No. I don't think the 360 is the same. Is that thing like ruined?
Oh yeah.
And like the sealing surface?
I mean, no, that part's good. It's
Well,
just,
we'll weld a socket to it.
Oh.
Find a 3/8 one or a 1/2 inch drive and like we'll weld it on.
That works.
I'm really nervous about these top triple clamps, like how tight to get them, because it's very obvious that everybody broke them in the past. So where is the limit? This is the one I welded. I don't like it. I don't like it. That's enough. I'm nervous. We'll be good. Okay. Now I'm just gonna kind of doll up the front end, get everything together, and we'll be riding this thing before too long. All right, so you saw that little welding clip. Seth got his drain plug out, obviously. So let's see what this looks like. Deep space.
I'm not going to say that I cleaned it out before I started, but I'm also not going to say that I didn't.
Well, we'll see when you get that that piece out.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Everything is fine.
It's fine.
I have to get a slide hammer on it, but...
Whoa.
Yikes. Oh boy.
Gotta get a little aggressive right now. Well, that should have came by now.
It probably hasn't been serviced since 1981.
I mean, it's lasted this long. I do not like
That
that.
is not good.
One eternity later.
You ready for it?
I think so.
You sure? I've seen it. It's not good.
Ew.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been touched.
Oh my gosh. That thing was like concreted in there.
Gosh.
A little bit.
Ooh.
Oh, a lot bit of schmutz. This stuff's like firm.
What was it? Is it just not having been touched since 1972?
Maybe it's the internals of the engine.
Well, yeah, but like what part is it I'm worried about?
I don't know. It's hitting on both cylinders. I say ride it. We don't really have a choice here.
Man, I don't know if that was clutch or what.
That I don't know.
I'm gonna be optimistic.
You gonna taste it?
1040.
1040. If it's lucky.
Yeah.
You remember that Remember that cut you had on your finger?
Yeah, it landed right in it, actually.
I was gonna say brake clean remembers. Oh, that's so nasty.
I'm gonna need more brake clean.
Well, things have escalated. Decided to pull the side cover off for obvious reasons. So you got most of that cleaned out. Well, I mean, you'll see it anyway.
Yeah.
It is in there.
The concern now is that the pickup screen is going to be totally caked with how bad that filter is. So we're going to go ahead and pull the cover off and just, for peace of mind, see how bad that thing looks.
It's gonna be bad.
You don't say that. It could be fine.
Through the ring. Look at that, you got it in the bucket.
That's a first. Tell you what.
Yeah, definitely worried about the pickup screen for the oil pump, so we'll see how it is.
Yeah, a little.
That gasket's in one piece though.
That is shocking. We could reuse that.
All right, so the cover's off. I don't even know if we'll be able to see this. Yeah, there you go. That screen is completely clear, which is pretty wild. But up here you can see how nasty that is. So we're kind of dumbfounded on where all of the star glitter and stuff is from. So I don't know, they've probably never cleaned this. I don't know if it's just overflowing any trash it's picked up. I don't know, but we're gonna make that ride to Quincy.
Yeah, one way or another.
All right, status update. 350 side cover is back on. What say you?
I have fought battles with this thing, man.
And mainly, I mean, that was one thing, but he got his rear brake working, and that just took a lot. So
I made poor decisions that night, and they needed to be reversed. But now I have a solid functioning brake and a relatively clean filtering system. Hopefully it doesn't explode.
yeah, I mean, there's still obviously, I mean, you saw what came out of the oil pan. We'll see how it goes. So as far as mine is concerned, it's pretty much ready. I did get the drum brake front on here, and it was a fiasco trying to find a cable that would work. So this isn't the exact right cable for it. I had to modify this piece here to try to get like just another 1/8 inch or whatever. But I got the fender on here, and that helps keep cables off of it. The biggest change, yeah, added some headlights. So I made a bracket that ties into the factory spot here. But we have basically a spotlight, and then this is a floodlight, so we'll have a high-low beam. And it's not wired up right now. We're just gonna kind of send it. So we got that. So I just drained the oil, and it just looks like old oil. It doesn't look sparkly or anything. To get the side cover off, I'd have to remove the header, remove the kickstart, get this down, probably pull the peg off. I don't really feel like doing that. So if I don't take the cover off and I don't inspect the oil filter or separator, it's not dirty, right? So we're gonna plop some fresh oil in this thing and just go for it. So I have full confidence. Well, we got a 360 here and a 350, and if this doesn't set the stage for the day, then I don't know what else will. The lifeblood. So you're a little worried about using some oil, huh?
You could say that. I have some moderate concerns.
I mean, this thing's been sitting here for 30 seconds and there's no drops underneath it, so I don't know what magic you did, but it's got a leak.
It's more better now than it was, but it's
So-
not as good as I want it to be.
So we've got 120 miles to go from the shop to our destination. I have my GPS coordinates written, so hopefully we don't lose signal.
But yeah, we did a little test ride of these things yesterday, about 40 miles, and they did great, other than using a ton of oil. So yeah, here we go. All right, well, we're just getting going on this ride. We've gone 3 miles. So we're off to a little bit of a rough start, and that's because Seth's bike just doesn't want to start. And this isn't a new issue. We're starting to think that the batteries that we bought for these things are just bad, because overnight they just go bad. And we always have to, you know, at least jump his. I've been lucky enough to only have to jump mine a couple times. But yeah, riding it yesterday for a long time, it felt like the battery charged up enough to, you know, let the bike start on its own. So that is one thing we're facing. So if he kills it at a stoplight in the next 30 minutes, we're kind of screwed. But anyway, the things that we're going to be facing today, obviously the sun. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's a high of 90, so it's going to be a little hot. And then other than that, you know, my bike has an intermittent ignition issue. I wiggle some wires on the left side and it's good to go. But also, neither of our seats are comfortable at all. I'm pretty much sitting on seat pan right now, and it does not feel good. So we'll catch up with you in a little bit. All right, our first stop, we're 25 miles in. This is just a oil check, so it has used about a quart. So yeah, that's awesome. We found some shade. This nice tree right here. But to be continued. Well, we're out here ripping and my speedometer just quit on me. So we're about 6-7 miles from our next stop, and I'm just hoping that I can get that working again, because I really need that trip meter. I know Seth reset his and we at least have that, but yeah, I really want that speedometer to work. I was really enjoying it. But as far as a update, our route consists of just back roads like this. We have to kind of jog through a few towns here and there. I'm really just trying to avoid high speed roads along with, you know, high traffic and potentially like law enforcement and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why we're kind of all on these back roads. Captain's log. We have gone 50 miles. This thing's doing pretty good. Seth's is continuing to mark its territory. Also, there is a Chinese expression. It's called jiao, and it means keep going, but technically it translates into add oil. That's a good name for this thing. Jiao. But anyway, his is leaking a bunch. We lost a bolt for the exhaust, so it's zip tied on now. But on to our next leg. I mean, the speedometer's not working, but it's probably reading like 140 right now. So right now we're nearing Louisiana, Missouri, and this is all pretty farmland. Haven't been down this road in a while. I'm super bummed about the speedometer because I really wanted to roll that thing over to 17,000 miles. We were going to get there too. Slow bike fast is better than fast bike slow. This used to be a really cool old house. Awesome barn. Yep. Another little oil fill up.
drag here back in high school.
Alright, this is the start of a pretty big hill. I know I can't do 6th. I may not be able to do 5th. We'll see. Alright, we're doing good. That was chip and seal.
So at this point in the trip, we're about 2/3 of the way to our destination, and we're just having such a blast on these things. It may not be the fastest bike by any means, but you know what? We got these things out of a junkyard, and within 48 hours, we had them running. Every time I get my hands on some kind of cheap bike like this, it's always the most fun I can possibly have. So definitely go get yourself a cheap bike if you can, and have a blast.
Alright, we are stopping again. It has been another 25 miles, so time to top off the bike. Seth, what kind of ice cream you gonna get?
Something chocolate.
Something chocolate, alright.
Sounds good.
Mississippi. Alright, we are cruising through downtown Hannibal. The objective here is to not get pulled over. I feel like we are just so out of place right now. Okay, well we got about 3 miles of just pure highway, which sucks. So this is the only way across the river in this vicinity. I'm actually kind of thankful for this construction site limiting the speed. Our destination is over there. Just a very picturesque road. Rolling into Quincy. We're literally within a mile or two. It's pretty awesome. Alright, we are about to arrive. Okay, I literally don't know where it's at. Should be right here. Oh, the right's right there. Hey, hey. We have arrived. Yum Factory, junk motorcycles.
Open. The Yum Factory. So what'd you get? Scone?
the scone and the s'more cupcake.
They don't do ice cream.
All right. That was the Yum Factory. How was your ice cream?
Very much more solid than I anticipated it being.
In true me style, I didn't really look up what they had. I thought they had ice cream, but they don't serve ice cream. So we had some other sweets that were delicious. But I'm an idiot.
So now that we've accomplished our goal in Quincy, it's time to turn around and go right back home, and we have yet another 120 miles ahead of us. So the bikes made it up to Quincy really well, but on the way back, I will say things did not go quite as smooth.
How many miles we gone?
In total,
Yeah,
158.
look at that. So, unique situation here. Obviously, this first half of the ride, every 25 miles, been adding a half a quart religiously. I mean, we're down to here. So, the last, 3 times you've checked it now?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
It's been fine. It hasn't budged, which is weird because there's oil all over this thing that's actively dripping out of the crankcase from somewhere. And yet it's not changed on the dipstick, so
And I mean, it was like really, really consistent before. I mean,
Yeah.
you could tell on the stick that every 25 miles, it was down a certain amount. So I'm wondering, I need to ride behind you and just see if it's smoking as bad. Because what if it was the oil control rings and they like were seized or something, and now they're unstuck.
it could be. It might have just been burning it the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's leaking some, obviously, but
Yeah.
still.
It's like quiet, too quiet. You know, like waiting on the other shoe to drop.
Something should be wrong here.
Could just explode at any second.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to be too nosy, but we are in another location I've stopped by here a couple times. Always peeking in the window, but this guy likes vintage bikes too. He's got some cool stuff in there. So we are probably a solid 80 miles from our destination per the route. So we're going to get to it. Well, crap. Not a mile and a half after that last clip. Talking this thing up, the battery has apparently just completely took a crap. So that was weird. It was while we were riding too. It just all of a sudden lost power. So we got to figure out the plan. We might switch batteries in our bikes. So my bike would at least try to run on a dead battery, and we have about 9 miles to the next town. So that might be our best shot. All right, we just got back on the road. So we ended up swapping batteries, and I was able to get just enough juice to get this thing fired off. So I'm wondering if maybe Seth's charging system was just not enough for that battery, and it got hot. I don't know, it let go or something. So let's, we're gonna try to make it the next 20 miles, get to the next town, the next larger town with like an auto parts store, and that's our next goal. We just got to make it 20 miles. So, yeah, whatever, figure it out. Well, the sun is not in our favor right now, but we're getting ready to cross back into Missouri, and this is Louisiana again. So very strange. This thing, when I was slowing down at this last stop sign, it like cut out just exactly like it did with Seth. But it came back, and it was just for a second. I just want to check the voltage while this is running.
Oh, yeah.
It cut out one time, just like it did with you when you went to decel.
That's weird.
And it came back after a second, but I was like almost done for. Can you get this? All right, rev it up a little bit. Let's check yours. Just to see what it looks like when it's at rest. Because if this is good, then it should just be the battery, right? Alright, so we have two choices. We can try to wing it, or we can try to just go to Bowling Green, go to O'Reilly's, and just get a battery.
What's your preference?
We would have to switch our batteries again, because I don't have a tray.
Right.
But that might be our best shot.
Switching them out?
Yeah, like going to O'Reilly's.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna take 54. Oh sweet, I was recording. Okay, well that was unintentionally good. So mine's only at 11.9 volts when it's running, so it's just under that threshold. Seth's bike at rest was at 12.5, so that tells me that he's not discharging. So it's not the charging system, but rather the battery itself. It just can't take anything. So we have modified our course. We're going to the next town that I'm familiar with, and I know they have like an O'Reilly's and stuff. So we're gonna hope that they have at least like an AGM or something that'll fit his. They should have something on the shelf, so we should be able to get it done. But we're gonna have to swap our batteries back again because I don't have a battery tray. All right, here's the situation. The battery was basically bad. So in my bike at 6,000 RPM, it was like 12 volts. So it was enough to sustain. So that's what happened to Seth, is whenever you drop down, that was it.
Yeah.
So I had to like keep this thing at like 6,000 RPM to make it here. But we just picked up an AGM, got that one shoved in here because it wouldn't fit in his battery tray, and then he's just hanging on to my battery. And we just checked his at idle, and it's like, you know, it's like 12.5, and it will go up from there. So this should be the fix. Getting so close. We're probably 5-6 miles from the shop right now. It's just a really cool thing that we can do this. Things like this, you have to persevere, figure out problems as they come. It really teaches perseverance and self-reliance. I definitely feel like the 3 years that we did the Adventure Palooza have trained me well for this. It's like once you get into the zone of just covering distance, you just do it. Home stretch. Hell yeah. Feeling froggy. We did it. We made it.
Did make it.
That thing did a burnout really good, actually. We have arrived. I can hear my chain is just dry.
That's very dry.
Yeah. Slapping around.
Mine's not much better.
Yeah, yours is definitely slapping around. So it made it. It did the job. It did the thing. This thing made it. It did the thing. This thing made it. He did the thing.
Mostly.
Me, I did it.
That guy did it.
Ugh. Jeez. All right, what's our odometer at?
246 miles.
Oh, that's a good guess. I guess 240. Nice. All right. Time to not look at these things for a while.
I'm okay with that.
246 miles later, we're back at the shop. Both Seth and I, as well as the motorcycles, survived, and we couldn't be happier. We completed our original goal from the 48-hour challenge video, so if you haven't seen that, please go check it out. But this is definitely not the last time you'll be seeing these motorcycles, as we have some big, exciting plans for them, so stay tuned for those in the future. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video,
And we'll do
and
like
hope to see
one
you in
of
the
the-
next one. Thanks for watching.
What if I was like brandishing the Rotella bottle while sitting down in front of it? Like,
Pouring it in.
yeah.
Oh, let's get on the road.